Some colleagues, we are going to start our working day now. Yeah, we are going to hear about the dynamics about the sharings and different events. We are going to have the Skype communication later with Anatoliy Stelmakh, speaker of the ATO headquarters. We do have today some problems with the internet. That's why we are not going to have the video, but just the audio communication. Now the floor is given to the Speaker of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Lieutenant Colonel Viktoria Kushnir. You have the floor. Good morning, dear journalists. I'm happy to see you during our briefing. This week, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine conducted a series of electronic reductive auctions from the logistics in the electronic system of public procurement, ProZorro, to the tune of over 182 million hryvnia. Based on the result, the Minister of Defense signed with the suppliers 23 contracts, having saved about 16 million hryvnia as a result of that. All in all, since June 29th, 2015, the Ministry of Defense successfully conducted 122 electronic auctions, in the process of which they succeeded to save 107.5 million hryvnia. On the average, 5 bidders participated in each of the tenders. Now, there are tenders being conducted for 18 more bids of the Ministry of Defense to the tune of 61 million hryvnia. According to the contracts for the supply of this week, the Armed Forces of Ukraine received 1,200 sets of the summer uniform, 80 bulletproof vests, Corsair, 2,000 suits for the different Army and Navy, and 3,000 suits for the waterproof suit. In total, they signed the contracts to the tune of 70 million hryvnia. In 2018, the Ministry of Defense already concluded 92 contracts and additional agreements to the tune of 4,216 million hryvnia, and registered the commitments to the tune of 3,535 million hryvnia. During the last week, the repair and restoration teams of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the special brigades of the public enterprises returned to the combat area in the area of the ATO, 353 units of equipment, 7 tanks T-64, 3 Grad multi-rocket launchers, 6 self-propelled howitzer Gvozdika, 1 anti-aircraft complex Strela 10, 7 anti-tank guns Rapier, 6 anti-tank rocket complexes Metis and Conquerors, 1 howitzer D-30, 11 APC BMP-1 and 35 BMP-2, 5 combat reconnaissance and sentinel vehicles BRDM-12, 11 armored vehicles BTR-70 and BTR-11, BTR-80, and 5 reconnaissance vehicles BRM-1K. The public enterprises repaired 194 the 34 units of the multi-launch artillery units, and, including the howitzer, APCs, 5 tanks T-5 tanks T-64, 5 T-80, 60-72, 5 and 72, and 5 the reconnaissance and sentinel vehicles. Plus 194 units of the vehicles were repaired by the military repair teams, and all in all, they repaired since the beginning of the ATO operation 29,295 units of equipment. Also, they included that they returned 1,700 multi-rocket launchers, 5572 units of the armored vehicles, almost 20,000 units of the trucks and military vehicles, 83 aircraft, 44 helicopters, 27 drones, and also 28 units of the anti-aircraft artillery and 460 units of the radio engineering military. They continue to pay the special lump sum to the military servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine who would participate in the anti-terrorist operation. For the eliminated military equipment of the enemy, Ukrainian servicemen already received about 724.5 thousand hryvnia. Also, in addition to that, over 3 million hryvnia for the successful carry out of their task. The families paid. The families of servicemen, they paid already in this year 507 million hryvnia of lump sum, and over 138 million hryvnia to the participants in the ATO received due to they being wounded or for being disabled. The servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine who were wounded when engaged in combat in the ATO, they are treated in different medical hospitals and establishment of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Today, in the Ministry of Defense, in the medical establishments of Ministry of Defense, they treat 199 servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and 4 servicemen of other formations. 138 servicemen of Ukraine are going through rehabilitation course in different medical establishments. All in all, 1,187 participants of ATO received treatments. 35 Ukrainian servicemen are being treated in foreign countries, 18 in Germany, 3 in Romania, 3 in Hungary, and 3 in Lithuania, 2 in the United States and Austria each, and 1 Israel, Great Britain, Slovakia, and Poland. Over the last week, the engineering and the mining units actually demand a few 17,676 explosive devices. And also during the last week, the Ukrainian military athletes participated in 5 international competitions, winning 1 gold and 1 silver medals. The tandem Ukrainian pentathlonists, including our sportsmen, were the best in the men rally. Next week, athletes of the Armed Forces of Ukraine will participate in international competitions in the field events in China, cycling sport in Czech Republic, and and also in Germany. Now I give the floor to Anatoliy Stelmakh, who is going to inform me about the latest events in the ATO zone. Anatoly, we are ready to receive information from you about the dynamics regarding the sharing over the last 3 days, because we were talking about, we heard this latest information last time on Tuesday. Good afternoon. I would like to know that over the period 25th, 27th of August, the situation in ATO remained tense. The militants cynically neglecting the Minsk agreements actively used the weapons which had to be withdrawn from the line of contact, and though the armed provocations were fixed practically along the whole line of contact, the hottest bets were in Mariupol sector on August 25 near Mariupol at half an hour after midnight from the direction Kominternovo. Our checkpoint in Lebedynsky, the Harlings, enemy's Harlings, shelled from 122 millimeter artillery. Also, they used the artillery shelling the Ukrainian defense, the defense fortifications in Sopina. As a result of those shellings, 2 Ukrainian Marines were killed and 3 more were wounded. About 7 p.m., they 3 times shelled our checkpoints in Starognatovki from the mortars. The sabotage and reconnaissance group of the enemy tried to bypass Ukrainians near Novotroitsky. As a result of the combat, the bandits had to withdraw and to retreat. We continue to record the provocation shellings on the part of the militants at the residential quarters in the territory which is under their control. Later on, they accuse of that the armed forces of Ukraine. On August 25th, the militants were shelling on Gorlivka. They made damage to schools, and this is on the eve of the start of the academic year. Near Donetsk, on 26th of August, about midnight, near Donetsk, they shelled Ukraine positions in Opitne, using 122 millimeter artillery, tank, and 120 millimeter mortars. Almost at 2 p.m., they continued the tactics of the scorched earth. They fired from 120 millimeters mortars the residential houses. And they're near Temsk, about near Temsk, they shelled from 152 millimeter guns near Zaitsevo. The situation in the district of Mariupol again is aggravated. The militants fire from 120 millimeter mortars in Starognatovka, Nasilivka, Druga, and twice in Chermalik. At 6 p.m., they use 152 millimeter artillery shelling from Starolaspi and the ATO forces in Prokhorovka. And also they shelled Orlovsk, Lebedynsky, Starognatovka. They used also the Grads, multi-rocket artillery units near Bogdanovka. On 27th of August, there was a military confrontation in the Mariupol sector. It continued. From midnight to the 10 in the morning, 3 times the militants used 122 millimeter artillery near Starognatovka. At 4 p.m. In the same populated area, they shelled from the 152 millimeters. They also shelled Bogdanovka, and they again demonstrate their disrespect to the local peaceful population. About 7 p.m., the occupants used the mortars of 120 millimeter caliber to shell the civil residential houses Chermalik. At 10 o'clock, Mykolaievka. In the end of the day, the illegal armed forces, the enemy continued the escalation of the conflict in the ATO zone. About 9 p.m., they used 122 millimeter artillery to shell our position in Novogrigorievka and twice in Starognatovka. Near Donetsk, almost starting from 10 p.m. up to midnight, the militants used the 120 and 82 millimeter mortars, armed firearms, etc. They also were shelling the residential quarters of Avdiivka, where there are no ATO forces altogether. Over the last 3 days, 25 through 27th of August, the Russian terrorist troops violated the regime, the ceasefire regime for 291 times. At the same time, according to our information among the personnel of the illegal armed formations, they constantly have some financial, let's say, disputes, and their dissatisfaction with the action of their leadership increases. Recently, militants of the 12th Battalion of Territorial Defense, or the so-called DPR, just left their positions near Debaltsevo and went back home. And the major argument was they are being deceived by the Russian propaganda. So this is the exhaust of our information. Since there are no questions, this